Hey, it's Janie and Sherry here at the League-Kempner House in Galveston. Thanks for watching. We are in the yard, but we are not going to be cleaning up the yard today. We have been chomping at the bit, Sherry has, to get moving on the greenhouse. And we got rain a couple of days ago, but the concrete is dry, but we have a little bit of a dirt problem. So let's talk about what we're going to do there today. Actually, what Sherry's
that's the royal
gonna do the royal we. I am actually going to do something related to the greenhouse, and well, the seagulls have invaded. Let's go inside real quick and talk about what's going on and where I'm going, then we'll get Sherry started, and then I'm going to hit the road. So follow us in here. So a quick recap for those who have maybe not been following along. Sherry's husband, Roman, and Sherry have been working for months in the greenhouse. We got a grant from Clean Galveston for $3,000 to buy materials to do this restoration. And I'm about to go spend our second little bit of money. We bought some paint, that's the first bit, but I'm heading to Industrial Metals to buy the tubing to put our supports back in. So I'm going to go grab a tape measure in a minute. Tink's here. I'm going to get him to help me. We're going to measure that, and I'm going to go get that done while Sherry gets started painting. But look how...
It's very convenient that Tink is so tall and can reach up there.
He can be my measure guy. So, but look what Sherry and the group from Texas A&M did this weekend. All this got cleaned out. All the trash is gone. The extra dirt's been removed. We haven't pressure washed in here yet, but the outside's been pressure washed. And Sherry and Roman have scraped all the old glazing out and done a lot of prep on the sides. Roman's been dismantling some of the things that need to come off up here. And after I order the metal today, I'm going to put in our first order with McNatt for lumber.
Okay,
so we are on a roll, hopefully, but we're going to start with painting today. So since it did rain, dirt splashed up on the side from our new herb bed.
From our Aggie constructed herb bed.
But we don't want to wash it off with a hose because it would just soak into the porous concrete and we'd have to wait another 2 or 3 days before getting started. So I'm just going to, Sherry, take the brush. It's all dry and powdery, so we just kind of need to sweep it off, and that'll be good enough. So that's going to be task number 1. When she finishes that,
she's going to let you do it.
I'm going to let her do it.
Hand over the gauntlet, please.
I got to hand that over. When she's done with that, she's going to start painting. And I've got the paint that in, I think, video before last, we talked about why I selected this. It's a Behr product, a low luster, water-based porch and patio floor paint made specifically for concrete. You can go watch that video, but there is a little bit of a technique to putting it on, and normally you would just roll or brush on paint. That doesn't work as well for this because the concrete is very lumpy and paint tends to have a lot of surface tension and hold together, and it'll sit on top of those bumps, and as it dries it shrinks slightly and will crack and cause problems. So what I found is for this type of application, we use what I call the scrub method. So you get paint on and you just kind of have to scrub.
Okay.
And scrub and scrub and scrub. And it actually goes pretty fast and get it in. So we do kind of a thin coat first of just scrubbing and getting in everywhere, and then you can kind of come back with a little more. But it doesn't have to be too thick. We can always come back and put a second coat on quickly after the first one dries. And we're going to stop kind of at the metal rail here. We're not going to tape it off because we don't have to be that precise. But that will be the technique. Brush and then scrub and paint. And it goes on pretty well and pretty quick, and it dries really fast too. So it's a little bit humid. It'll take it a little bit longer, but within an hour or two, it'll be completely dry. And then it also will shed dirt. So it's, I I don't know how they do it, but the surface does not allow mold to adhere. So in the video, if you watched it down to Lucas, you saw that horrible black mold, and after 4 years, it's white and pristine as can be. So once it's on and dry, if something gets on it, you can just take a regular garden hose and rinse it, and it just falls right off. So it should stay nice, and it'll dramatically change the look of this to start getting some white on here. And then Sherry can continue on with the planting of the garden.
Yes.
So
Okay, I'm ready to
that
go.
is the task for today. So I'm going to let you start brushing.
I do need rubber gloves. Do you have rubber gloves?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I have nitrile gloves, or I have those new garden gloves that have the rubber coating.
No,
whichever you
nitrile
prefer.
gloves.
You want
'Cause
nitrile?
I want them to be disposable.
Yeah,
when I make a big mess.
I've got nitrile. So anyway, I'm going to leave Sherry to sweeping. I'm going to go grab a tape measure and get Tink and measure that, and then we'll come back and open paint. Tink took over the sweeping of the greenhouse. It would have been nice if it hadn't rained and gotten this dirty, but it's not that big a deal. And again, we don't want to clean it off with water because it would just set us back on the painting. And we really want to get this done. We had the Aggies do the bed first. Maybe grass would have helped keep dirt from blowing up, but we wanted to be able to paint below ground level so that when this bed is in and planted and filled with topsoil and mulch, that we have a nice clean painted line at the base. And we really are in a hurry to get this bed planted because we are now just a little over 6 weeks away from our backyard garden tour. So we want this bed in time to grow a little bit and look nice before we have that event. So it's imperative that we get at least this side painted so that we can proceed with the bed. So things were going well. It's not optimal weather. It's a little muggy, but it's really fine. This paint is very durable. So as soon as Tink made his way down the side and got everything cleaned up, Sherry was able to get in there and start painting. And we really do appreciate volunteers like Tink and Sherry and everybody else that shows up to help us. This was one of those days where we had several people turn out to work, and we're getting a lot of things done in the yard because it's spring and things are growing and it's changing fast back here. So thank you, Tink. As soon as he finished that, Tink went to help me in the greenhouse take those measurements for that steel structural support tubing that's going to go in here. Right now the greenhouse is being held up by some old heater pipe down there at the far end, and we need to get that cut out, but we don't want to cut that out until the new supports are in. And you saw Roman digging out all that concrete where the old ones were and getting all this cleaned up and ready. So now it's time to get that pipe, and we want to go as deep in the ground as we can. So we don't need exact measurements, but we want at least maybe 2 feet in the ground. I was a little concerned that we weren't, getting the exact measurement to ground, because as tall as Tink is, it's kind of hard to see where the upper end of that tape measure is. So we took a little break and got the ladder and redid it so we would know exactly what we were working with. And in hindsight, I'm not sure that it mattered. Plus or minus a couple of inches would not make or break this project, but better safe than sorry. And I have no idea what length the tubing comes in, so it may be that when I get there to order it, we end up with something a little different. But it ended up being about 100 inches, and with 2 feet in the ground, that would be 124 inches. So basically 10 feet of pipe to do this, and we need 4 of them. So once we had measurements, it was time to get Sherry started painting, and then I was going to be off to the metal fabricator to see about purchasing the pipe. While Tink and I were doing that, another volunteer showed up, Kathy. So she's great at scraping in the house, but she's also wonderful at yard work. So she's going to tackle some outdoor projects that we need done for the plant sale. And then it was time for Sherry to paint. All right. Oh, another pro tip here. So when I bought the paint, I did have them shake it. So always shake your paint at the store. It's way better than trying to stir it with a stick. So it should be ready to go. She's already got it on.
Just a little.
And that's
Really? Okay then.
so we're gonna critique our technique. Scrub a dub dub. That's it.
I see exactly what you mean.
That's it.
Yeah, it has to get down in all the
Down in the
divots.
little
Yep.
doodads.
So kind of like you're washing it instead of painting.
Yeah,
it.
kind of like you just scrub it on.
Whitewash.
And the brush is 33 cents a piece, so you can destroy the brush and then it'll end up looking pretty ratty when you're finished. It won't matter. But look how much better it's gonna look.
Looks better already.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the page where you post videos for the house?
It's a
YouTube, League-Kempner
YouTube.
House.
League-Kempner House.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I realized I hadn't set up season 5 on the website
Oh.
yet. Oh, and there's one video missing from the season 5 playlist. Video 3
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
show up on the playlist.
Well, that's probably operator error. It's probably. Kathy is working on our plant sale. So we've got spare stuff from the yard, things I brought from home, and all the dirt's been sifted and cleaned, and we're getting stuff potted. And Roman has shown up
It'll kind of be like a leathery cover.
to continue on with the dismantling of the upper part of the greenhouse. He has a technique. He's very patient and methodical. And it's not easy. We had 2 gallons of the paint, so Tink had joined in the fun, and I was busy working on covering up our new drainage pipe back there. But with 2 working, this went really fast, and the side looks so good. It's amazing what a difference a coat of paint can make. And Roman, God bless him, he was so patient working on removing the upper part of the greenhouse. It's just going to look fabulous. Look how much better it's looking already. We're very excited about this project. All right, I am back at a familiar place, buying the steel tubing that we need. It's a structural steel galvanized tubing. That's too big. Ours is somewhere in that warehouse, but it has to get cut in half. And actually, John McNatt's store is right behind us over there. Or shop, I should say, not store. So I'm going to take a few minutes and run over there and say hi. Actually, I'm not going to run over there because here comes our pipe. They said it would be a little while, but they're actually pretty quick. Just got to grab it and cut it in 2. Well, SH, you know what? I just looked down and see this. So I guess I will be heading for a tire store somewhere. It took a little longer than I expected to get the tubing. I had to get a sample to take it back and see if it fit in the brackets. We measured, but the outside diameter was just a little bit different, but it did work. So I headed back, bought the pipe itself, and fortunately it came in 20-foot lengths. So we needed 124 inches, cutting that into 2 sections, each 20-foot length gave us 120 inches, so that was close enough. So it was perfect. We don't have any waste, and it was fun watching them cut it. They have a huge bandsaw, and then they have this overhead crane system that he used to pick up all 4 pieces and drop in the back of the pickup truck. Each individual pipe doesn't weigh that much. It's easy to carry, but when you do this all day long, I think any labor-saving device is great. And so it went quick and I was on my way. It was a great day. We got a lot done. The greenhouse is looking wonderful. And when I got home, I had something very exciting in the mail. This is our brand new tea towels that we're putting in our online store. The artwork was done by local artist Jan Stevenson. She had done this digital rendering of the house a while ago. And we have it on prints that we sell at the house. We don't have a great way to ship them yet. And we also have them on some note cards that we use as gifts to our large donor members, and we'll also be adding those to the online store to sell. But we're very excited about the tea towel. It's something easy to ship. It's great quality. We're excited to have it. So go to our store and check it out. And if you're one of our YouTube members, we need to get you your discount code so that you can buy these at a discount. So if you're not a YouTube member already, be sure and sign up. We have a 99-cent level and a $1.99 level. You get extra goodies here on YouTube. So we hope to see you over in the membership section soon. All right, Karen has showed Joe how to use our new Victrola. All right, let's all dance. If you saw the last video, you saw Karen and her son carrying in this incredible Victrola as a gift, and it sounds so cool. Thank you, Karen. Then we were back the next day, and this happened. So this is the long-awaited torrential rain that we needed to test our drainage system now that all of the pipe is in and everything should be functional. And we had a slow and steady rain throughout the morning. As I was driving in from Houston, I was getting bands of just torrential rain. It hadn't hit Galveston yet, but it was coming. So I took the opportunity to go out with the umbrella. It didn't protect me much. I got pretty wet, as you'll see, but I did keep the camera dry so I could film what was going on. And you just really have to be here when it rains to see what's happening. Now we've messed up kind of the slope here in this area doing all of our trenching, but the pipes in, everything seemed to be working well. But you can see the water rising, and we took out that catch basin there, the temporary one that Ricardo had done. So I decided to pull out this kind of stub that we had there and open up the end of that third pipe so we could really see what's happening when all three pipes are draining away from this area. So it was a little hard to do with one hand with the umbrella and holding the camera and then trying to just get it done with one hand, but I was able to eventually wiggle it free and get it turned around and draining in the right direction. So it's I was pretty wet. It was a mess, but I did get it done eventually and get this thing off and get it kind of turned to the side. I don't want a lot of mud to get in there, so I wanted to leave it up away from the ground a little bit so that it wasn't getting too much debris in there. But I got it on and then went out to check kind of the pond and see what was going on now that all three of these things have water flowing through them. And you can see the water's not too high yet, but it is getting in that original pipe that we had laid to that catch basin. So back over at the pond, I was a little sad to see that the pipe that we had going out to the street, which is our low spot where we can drain water off property, is a little bit higher than the three incoming pipes. Now that is somewhat to be expected because we have quite a bit of slope coming from where these start to here. So as long as the takeaway pipe is below the height of the entry point of these pipes, everything should still flow. It's not optimal, but it will work. And we know that the trench worked before, so there's no reason to think the pipe won't work. But it is good to actually see it in action and watch the flow. You just don't get that opportunity with a light rain. So right now I would say a medium rain had picked up and everything's working great, exactly as planned, and the water level is staying low. So so far, so good. So I just continued to monitor throughout the morning and kind of see what was happening and keep an eye on this and make sure that everything's working okay. We still need to add more dirt to cover this pipe and get the pavers in here, and we'll add some slope away from that door. But as I said, so far, so good. And then the rain picked up. It started raining pretty heavy, and according to the radar, a really bright red band of rain was coming our direction. So I went back outside and stood with my little umbrella for a long time watching the water flow. It's hard to see here, but I'm looking to see what direction the water is moving that's not in the pipe. And part of this is to see where water is coming from. So I think I sped by that pretty quick. I'm going to see if I can stop and freeze that frame for you. But you can see here that water is coming from the side yard and from the garage. And it turns out that that water comes from all the way up near the front corner of the house, flows down the side, and comes back to this area. So we still have some serious issues with the grading of the yard. And that, as you'll see in a minute, becomes a big problem. So here the retention pond is filling up, water's still flowing. You can see movement there coming out of the pipes. They'll get submerged in a minute and water will start flowing through our overflow there out to the street. But again, so far so good. So we've gone from a light rain to a pretty heavy rain, and everything is still working as designed. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. It looks like everything's going to work. The water is not high enough to get into the discharge pipe yet, but it's getting close, and the rain is continuing to pick up and get a little harder and a little harder. I went out to check what was going on at this street, and it's really hard to see. It doesn't capture it on video, but water's running through the pipe. It's running through the channel as it's collecting from that back east part of the yard, and it's really flowing very strongly across the sidewalk and out into the street. So far, so good. At this point, I had been out there, I don't know, an hour or so watching it. I abandoned the umbrella. I was pretty soaking wet, and I realized I had chairs in the car I needed to unload, so I decided to go ahead and get those in. A little rain wouldn't hurt them. We're trying to get set up for our seance event, which was this coming weekend, so I needed to go ahead and get that done. So I headed out to grab the chairs because even heavier rain was about to come, and I want to go ahead and get those in. And the bottoms had already come in. They're upholstered, so it was really just the wooden chair, and they could use a good scrubbing anyway, so a little more water wasn't going to hurt them. But it was just kind of a soaking wet day, and I had some dry clothes with me, and I didn't want to change until the rain quit and I finished my observation of the water, so I just kept at it.
Okay.
That's why I went to get dry clothes. Isn't it fun, restoration?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. They're all in except one seat, so we can dry them off and get them set up.
Okay.
And the other seat will just
Okay.
wait.
You should have brought a bar of soap.
I bathed last night.
There's more towels in the cabinet.
Oh, look.
It's clean.
It's clean.
It's just ugly.
I brought dry clothes. Alright, not good, not good. The big rain hit. This is the problem you can see, is that it backs up and can't drain fast enough. Let's see what's happening.
You have sandbags?
Yeah! actually misspoke earlier. The seance was the night of this rain, so we were a little frantic that all this water was going to come in the basement where our bathrooms are, and we would spend the rest of the day shop vacuuming out water. But fortunately, the rain quit just in time, and the water, within about 5 minutes of the rain stopping, the water receded and this area was dry. So everything works, but we still have a volume issue. So we are going to go on to phases, I don't know where we are now, 10, 11, or 12 of our water management issue. And a big part of it is the water coming from the yard to this area. Probably, I don't know, a fourth or more of this acre lot is flowing towards this area. So we've already regraded part of the yard. We need to finish our yard regrading. This was a really good test and it didn't come in, but we need a better margin of error than this. Just look how this water was so close to coming in. So we're closer, but not there. Ellie, you may want to put your boots back on and go move your car. You're right up next to the curb where it's deep. You might